Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. This is your chemistry lecture of grade 10th, and I am your chemistry teacher Aparna Pandey from Arjun Progressive School, Lamachor. So student, as you all know that we have started our chapter number 1 of chemistry and its name is chemical reactions and equations, right? Now students, in this chapter, in your previous videos, you have discussed about, here we have discussed about what is chemical equation. But we have discussed what is chemical equation. And after giving the examples or after explaining that what is chemical equation or a chemical reaction, I have introduced you with reactant and product concept, right? We have discussed there about the reactant and product, right? This we have discussed there about the reactant and product. Now see students, and after that I have also told you about the different changes that we see during a reaction, as I told you about the evolution of gas and increasing, or we can say change in temperature, not increasing, because every time it does not increase, sometimes the temperature also goes down. So but we can say evolution of gas, change in color, change in temperature, right? Change in state. I told you now that these are the changes when occur, then we say that yes, reaction has taken place. These all things we have discussed in our previous video, right? After that students, we have also done one thing, that I told you about the activities, right? We have done some activities like of magnesium ribbon and oxygen. I hope that it is clear to everyone. But I told you there in the magnesium ribbon and oxygen that when we burn magnesium ribbon in presence of oxygen, it burns with the white dazzling flame, and the white powdered form of magnesium we get in a form of magnesium oxide. Magnesium ribbon we have taken, we have burned it in the presence of oxygen, and what we are getting? MgO, that is magnesium oxide. Similarly, I have explained to you about zinc granules activity. What I told you that we have taken some zinc granules in a beaker, and there we have poured some acid like H2SO4 or HCl. What we have observed? We have observed that the zinc granules, when we are putting acid in the zinc granules, the gas comes out, and that gas, when we put any matchstick over there, but we got that it has some popping sound, and that gas is hydrogen gas. So these all things we have discussed. So before moving further, when more activities there, why I am telling you these activities? Because these activities are very important, and during exam the questions are framed from these activities only, right? So these are very important, like magnesium ribbon one, zinc granules, and the third one I am going to tell you right now. Say student, as in 2 we have seen different type of changes, change in state. Then we have seen the evolution of gas. Similarly, the activity that I am going to tell you now is going to show you the change in color. Means now we are going to react barium iodide with lead chloride. Okay, we are going to react here barium iodide with the lead chloride. So I have taken barium iodide with lead chloride. Okay. Now students, what you have to remember, see, barium iodide and lead chloride, both the solution are right now, means both the solution are colorless. Okay. BaI2 is barium iodide, PbCl2 is lead chloride. And if you know the valency, so barium has +2, and iodide is -1. Similarly, lead has +2 and chlorine has -1. Okay. So these are the valencies. Okay. I hope that you all know how to make the formulas. So here in this activity, what we have taken, one beaker contains barium iodide and the another beaker contains lead chloride, right? In this way also you can see that suppose this is a beaker and here we have, in this one, this is our barium iodide BaI2, and here this barium iodide solution we are pouring in another beaker which contain PbCl2. Okay. Now students, see, when we are pouring this barium iodide in lead chloride solution, then what we will get? We will get, see, this is positive. This positive will do reaction with here -1 and this positive will do reaction here with -1. So the what product will be formed? We will get barium chloride and lead iodide. What we have taken? We have taken barium iodide and lead chloride, and in a solution we are getting barium chloride and lead iodide. So what will be the product? Product here it will form BaCl2 plus PbI2. Okay, the what product is formed here? BaCl2 plus PbI2. Yes. Now students, see, here both the solution that we have taken in initial stage are colorless. This solution is also colorless and this solution is also colorless. But when we have poured this barium iodide here in a beaker of lead chloride, then the compound formed barium chloride and lead iodide. How this compound is formed? I hope it is clear to everyone. This barium has in combination with this chlorine and this lead has in combination with this iodide, and we are getting BaCl2 plus PbI2. Now, what the change that we will find in this reaction is that the initially this things that we have taken, these BaI2 and PbCl2, both the solution are colorless. But as soon as we have poured this BaI2 barium iodide and PbCl2 lead chloride, here PbI2, here yellow colored precipitate is formed. Yellow colored PPT is formed. Okay, yellow colored PPT is formed. Okay, so this tells us that this reaction shows us the change in color. This reaction shows that yes, reaction has taken place, and when reaction has taken place, there occur change in color, right? Now, so student, this is one more reaction and a very important one, the reaction between the barium iodide and lead chloride. Now, how question comes from this reaction? That it will ask that when we combine barium iodide with lead chloride, which color PPT is formed? Or it can also come like that when we have which two solution we combine to get lead iodide or a yellow color precipitate, or it can also come that name the yellow color precipitate which is formed by reacting barium iodide and lead chloride. So in this way, from these activities, many types of questions are framed. So what you have to do, that whenever you are going through your NCERT book or with some other book, in refresher chemistry, you have to go a very fine way. You have to see to the reactions in a very fine manner, because usually the questions are from the activities only. Now students, here we are going to start another new topic, and its name is balancing equation. Its name is balancing equation. So what we are going to discuss here? Here we are going to discuss about the balancing equation. Let's start. Now see, here question arises first that what is the need of balancing equation? Why do you need to balance the given equation? So see, when we have taken any element or a compound for a reaction, then it is required to have both in reactant side as well as product side the same moles, same number of moles. Okay, right? We have to do the balancing so that we can in both reactant side as well as the product side number of moles should be same. Don't worry if you are not getting, no need to worry. Again I am explaining. See beta, we all know that in reactions follow the law of mass of conservation, or we can say law of this is called chemical combination, right? Law of conservation of mass or law of chemical combination. What does it mean? It means that the number of reactant that you have taken should be equal to the number of product formed. Means number of reactant and number of product? No. Number of moles of particular element. Okay, the number of moles of particular element in reactant side or particular compound in reactant side should be equal to the number of moles of particular compound or element in product side, right? For example, and why it is so? Because what we say that and things that cannot be created nor be destroyed, they can be transferred from one form to another. So we cannot decrease the number of moles or we cannot increase the number of moles. Number of moles should be same, both in reactant side as well as in product side. So that's why it is required to balance the equation. That's why it is required to balance the equation. For example, we have a very simple, one reaction. This is most common. You have seen C plus O2. It gets changes into CO2. Okay, what is C plus O2? It gets changes into CO2. Carbon plus oxygen get changes into CO2. Now, how do we will know that whether the given reaction is balanced or not? Whether the given reaction is balanced or not? So, for that, what we have to do, we will see the number of moles of carbon, the number of moles of oxygen in left hand side, and the number of moles of carbon and number of moles of oxygen in right hand side. So what we will see that here carbon is 1, oxygen is 2, carbon is 1, oxygen is 2. So what do you think that is this reaction required any type of balancing? Is this reaction required any type of balancing? No. Why? Because in this reaction, the left hand side and the right hand side, the number of moles are equal. Carbon is also 1, carbon is also 1, oxygen is 2, and here oxygen is also 2. So in such cases, we do not need to balance the equation. Okay, it's so fine. But if we are getting any reaction where the number of moles of reactant and products are not equal, then what we have to do? So student, there we have to check, and we have to check, we have to calculate, and till we are not getting both the side equal numbers, we have to do again and again the hit and trial method. What is this hit and trial method? Hit and trial method means that once you will try to balance first element or first compound, then you will check that another side it is balanced or not. Then you have to balance this side, then again you will check that first side is balanced or not. So what it is hit and trial, because first you are doing, then you are checking that whether it is correct or not. If it is not correct, then again you are making the changes. Okay, so this type of method is called hit and trial, and for balancing the chemical reactions we use this method only. So here you have seen one reaction like this. Now suppose you have one more reaction. What it is? Sorry, it is like you have taken H2 plus do H2O get changes into H2 plus O2. what it is? H2 plus O2. This is water and it gets changes into H2 plus O2. Now what do you think that the number of atoms here, number of moles of hydrogen and oxygen in both sides are equal or not? So for this what you have to do? You have to check. How you will check? You will write hydrogen, oxygen. Okay. In this way you can write reactant side, product side. Now in reactant side hydrogen, how many moles of hydrogen is here? 2. Simply you have written 2. Very nice. Here number of moles of oxygen? 1. In product side the number of moles of hydrogen? 2. But in product side the number of moles of oxygen is also 2. Now what do you think? This is the reactant side, this is the product side. Now in product side the hydrogen is also 2 and the oxygen is also 2. But in the reactant side hydrogen is 2 but the oxygen is 1. So what we have to check? We have to check these two. So here in reactant side as well as product side the number of moles of hydrogen are equal. So we don't have any problem. Okay. But when we see oxygen, what we find here that oxygen in reactant side is only 1 and here in product side is 2. So how we will do now? What we will do to make it equal? So see, here we have to put hit and trial method. So what we can do for making oxygen 2? For making oxygen 2, suppose I am putting 2 here. Now, please keep please keep this in your mind. Sorry, once again. So please keep this in your mind that you can only change the number of moles in this front side. You cannot add any number in between or here at last. Okay, this you have to always keep in your mind that changes that you need to do, you can only do in this front side here. Only in these areas you can make any type of changes. But you cannot do any change here in between or here last one. So this you have to put in your mind very clearly. No need to confuse in this case. Now students, what I told you is I have to make in reactant side the number of moles of oxygen 2. So I have written 2 here because no other option I have. I cannot make any change here. So I have written 2 here. Now this is 2. Let's see again. Now this is the first case. Now how many number of moles of hydrogen here? If we see in reactant side, the number of moles of hydrogen is now 4. Again change came and the number of reactant, here the number of moles of hydrogen becomes 4. And number of oxygen is 2. Number of oxygen is 2. Now let's see in product side. Now in product side the number of hydrogen is 2 and the number of oxygen is 2. So here in reactant side the number of hydrogen is 4 and in product side the number of hydrogen is 2 and in reactant side the number of oxygen is 2 and in product side also the number of oxygen is 2, means the moles are 2. So this here oxygen is now equal. Here is also 2 and here is also 2, no problem. So we have, after making change here, the number of moles of oxygen are equal in reactant side as well as in product side. But because we have made change here, so now in reactant side the number of moles of hydrogen increases and in product side they remain 2 only. Now what we can do? We can add 2 here. We can add 2 here like this. We will add 2. So now how many number of moles will be there? 2 into 2 will be, we will add 2 here and it will become 4. What it will become? It will become 4. So what we are getting? But we have got the number of, now in reactant side count the number of hydrogen, or you can see again here, let's see. This is hydrogen side, this is oxygen side. Okay. And here I am putting in the same way I am writing, either you will become confused. This is hydrogen, this is oxygen, this is reactant side, this is product side. Now in reactant side, this is reactant side, this is product side. In reactant side, let's check the number of hydrogen. 2 into 2, 4. Let's check here the number of hydrogen in product side. 2 into 2, 4. Now see in oxygen in reactant side, 2. Number of moles of oxygen is 2. And in product side, the number of moles of oxygen is 2. So now we can say that our reaction is balanced. Now what we can say that yes, our reaction is balanced. So what we got here after balancing the reaction, that is 2H2O 2H2O gives 2H2 plus O2. So this is the simplest form of the reaction that we have balanced. Okay, this is the simplest form of the reaction that we have balanced. Now, I hope that you all are getting. If you have any confusion, no need to worry. The same thing we will discuss further in our Google Meets also. And beta see, for understanding and getting a good practice of this balancing equation, what you have to do, that you have to do more and more examples of balancing equations. So as much as reactions you will solve, you will come to know that how you have to balance the equation or balance the reaction. And always keep in this mind that there is no pre-decided thing. You have to just count the numbers, you have to check in both in the product side as well as in the reactant side, and then you have to balance. This is hit and trial method only, right? One more we can say, I have one more example for you. Let's go in that also. Then I hope you will get some idea. Suppose we have CH4 plus CCl4 get changes into CH4 plus Cl2. CH4 plus Cl2 get changes into CCl4 plus HCl. Okay, HCl. What is the reaction here? Methane plus chloride get changes into CCl4 and HCl. Now what you have to do here, in this part, again you have to check the number of carbon, number of hydrogen and number of chlorine in both reactant side as well as the product side. Okay, so what we will do, we will write here carbon, hydrogen and chlorine. Okay, here I have written carbon, hydrogen, chlorine. Now let's divide it into the two parts. One part is for reactant side and one part is for product side. Okay, one part is for reactant side and one part is for product side. Now let's see the number of carbon here. 1, and the number of carbon is 1 in both the side. Okay. Then number of hydrogen here 4 and number of hydrogen here is 1. Okay. And then let's see chlorine, number of chlorine here 2 and here number of chlorine 1. Now how you will, not 1, 4. Here, okay, the number of chloride is here 4. Now let's see 4 and here this is HCl. Here right now we have not taken this Cl, just we are focusing in this one. Let's see now what is going. CH4 plus Cl2 gives CCl4 plus HCl. So the number of carbon are balanced, no problem. C, this is carbon 1, 1, hydrogen 4, hydrogen 1, chlorine 2 and here chlorine 4. So first of all, let's make some change here. Now how we will make this hydrogen 4? We have only one option for putting hydrogen here. What is that option? Because I told you we cannot make any change in between or in last. So simply we can put 4 here in front of hydrogen only, right? So suppose now if we are putting 4 here, okay, suppose we have written 4 here. Now check, number of hydrogen is 4 here and number of hydrogen is 4 here. Now it is balanced. Both the side 4 hydrogen is there. Okay. But then let's see the number of chlorine then. So here the number of chlorine is 4 and 4. 4 chlorine is here and 4 chlorine is here. So in product side the number of chlorine is 8. That's why I have told you earlier that we are not counting chlorine here, because as we have changes the number of hydrogen, at the same time the number of chlorine get changed by itself only. So now the number of chlorine in product side is 4 plus 4 is 8. Now how many number of chlorine in reactant side? It is 2 only. Now how we can change here? Because we have to change here only. If we will make any change here, then again the number of hydrogen will also change. So we have to find something suitable, that we have to find something like this, that because the number that are already balanced, we have to try that we must not make any changes there. If we will make any change there to balance this, then what will happen? Yes, of course this will be balanced, but again the balancing will change here. So these all things we have to keep in mind. So what we are getting here, we can see in this reaction that number of chlorine here is total 8, but here we can say that chlorine is 2 only. Now how we can make chlorine 8? This we have to think. So what we have to do here, that it is already 2 and we have to make this 8. So what we will do, we will put 4 here. What we will do, we can put 4 here. As soon as I am writing 4 here, now the number of chlorine will be Cl2 and this is 4, it will become 8. So 2 into 4, it will become 8. Now you can see here that in both the sides the number of chlorine is also same. So what we are getting? Carbon also 1. Both the side number of carbon is same. Both the side number of hydrogen is same. And both the side number of chlorine is same. And what the reaction formed finally? It is CH4 plus 4Cl2 get changes into CCl4 and 4HCl. What it is? CH4 plus 4Cl2 get changes into CCl4 plus 4HCl. Okay, so this is called the balanced equation. This is called the balanced equation. So student, I hope that this is clear to you. How we have done this balancing? It is a hit and trial method. You have to just put the number of elements or number of compounds that in this side, and then you have to check the number of moles in product side as well as the number of moles in reactant side, right? Now, so I hope that balancing equation is clear to everyone. If it is not, no need to worry. Wherever we will do the reactions, there at that time we will do balancing. So as much as reactions you will practice, you will get the clear idea of balancing equation. Okay. So now students, here we are moving further in another topic, and it is types of chemical reactions. Okay. Now let's move in another topic, that is types of chemical reaction. So in types of chemical reaction, types of chemical reaction. Types of chemical reactions. In this types of chemical reactions, here we are going to discuss the first type, that is combination reaction. The simplest type of reaction is combination reaction. What is its name? Combination reaction. Combination reaction. Now, what is this combination reaction? What happens in this? As name suggests, combination. So here the reactants that we take forms a single product by combining itself. Okay, in this combination reaction, what happens that the reactants that we take, they combine themselves and forms a single product. That is called combination reaction. For example, I have taken A plus B. So A and B both are the reactant and it gets changes into AB. It gets changes into AB. Okay. So what it is? This A plus B get changes into AB. So A is a reactant. Sorry. B is also reactant and it combines and forms AB. AB is the product. So what I told you, as we combine two reactants, we get a single product and this is called the combination reaction. This is called the combination reaction. And in combination reaction, there can be the combination of element, combination of element and compound, and can be the combination of compound and compound. Okay, what I said that in combination, for combining in reactant side, we can have element, we can have compound plus element, and we can have compound and compound. So combination reaction can be between the element and element, can be between the element and compound, and it can be between the compound and compound. Okay, I hope it is clear. This is not visible, no problem, I'll write here C plus C. Okay, so what it is? Element plus element plus compound, compound plus compound. So in this way we have different types of combination reaction depending upon that what we are combining. Okay, depending upon that what we are combining. Suppose we are doing reaction between element and element. So how it will be? How it will take place? It's suppose we have S plus O2. It gets changes into SO2. What it is? Sulfur and oxygen both are element and it is giving us one single product, sulfur dioxide. So it is the combination of element and element. And why it is combination reaction? Because here we have taken two reactants and the one single product we are getting. Similarly, in case of element plus compound, in getting SO2 plus O2 we are reacting. So what we are getting? We are getting SO3. So what are these? These both are, one is compound, another one is element, and again we have got one single compound here. So what it is? It is the combination of element and compound. It is the combination of element and compound. Now let's see the combination between compound and compound, how it forms. So here we have water plus carbon dioxide. So when we combine water and carbon dioxide, we get H2CO3. So what it is? It is also the combination reaction. H2CO3, H2O plus CO2 that changes into H2CO3. And why it is a combination? Because two reactants and one single product. And how it has taken place? It has taken place between the two compounds. Water is also compound and carbon dioxide is also compound. So what we are forming here? H2CO3. So in this way the combination reaction takes place. So I hope now combination reaction is all are getting that how combination reaction takes place. Here we have two products and when we combine these two products we have two reactants. Sorry. Here we have two reactants and when we combine these two reactants we get one single product, right? Now, in the same way, we have another type of a reaction that is called decomposition reaction. Let's see the second type of reaction, and it is second type of reaction and its name is decomposition reaction. Okay, it is decomposition reaction. Now, what what happens in this case? What it is? Decomposition. So what do you mean by decomposition? When something gets splits up or break down, right? When something is splits up or breaks down, then what we say? We say that decomposition has taken place. So decomposition means break down or split up. So in decomposition reaction, what we will study here? Here we will see that the single reactant will break down into two or more products. What will happen here? Here the single reactant will break down into two or more products. And for example, suppose we have AB. AB get changes into A plus B, and this is called decomposition reaction. This is called decomposition reaction. AB is one single product, and when we have when this AB reactant get not product, AB is a reactant, and when this AB get into the decomposition, it gets changes into A plus B. So what happens here? This AB gets break down into A plus B, and this is called decomposition. One single reactant gets splits up into two or more than two products, right? I hope it is easy. It is clear to everyone. Now, here in decomposition, as in combination, I told you it can be between the element and element, element and compound, and compound and compound. But in decomposition, there is always a compound. As a reactant, there is always compound. Why it is so? Just you think by yourself that is it possible to break element? No, it is not possible. So for breaking, if we have to break down something, then definitely it should be in a compound form. Then only we can break, because we cannot break element. When we will break element, what will be their atoms, right? So for decomposition, the reactant is always in compound form. This also you have to keep in mind, that for the decomposition reaction, the reactant is always in compound form. One thing. Another thing is that if you will notice, then you can say that decomposition reaction is just opposite of the combination reaction. Why I am saying it is just opposite of the combination reaction? Because in combination reaction, we were taking two reactants and then they are combining and giving a single product. But in decomposition, we are taking single reactant and it gets splits up into two or more than two products. So it is just opposite of the combination reaction. Okay. Now, one more thing. Let's see some examples of this one. What it is? Decomposition reaction. So what we can see here that, one more thing. Whenever you have to do decomposition, you need some special efforts for that. Special efforts, why? See, when we have to break something, because in decomposition breaking is only takes place. So when we have to break something, we have to put special effort. So what type of special efforts will be given in decomposition reaction? Here either we have to provide heat, or we have to provide light, or we have to provide current for splitting up the reactant in some different products, right? So for breaking or for carrying out the decomposition reaction, we need to put light or electricity or heat according to the reaction, that what type of reaction it is there taking place. According to that, we have to put that special efforts, and when that special efforts we are doing, then the breaking of the compound takes place and then decompositions occur. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. Let's see some examples of the decomposition reaction. For example, we have AgCl2. Now it is also a very important reaction. See beta, AgCl2 is white in color. Okay, this is silver chloride. It is white in color. AgCl2 get decomposed into Ag plus Cl2. Okay, this get decomposed into Ag plus Cl2. This AgCl2 is a white compound. Here I am writing, I think it is not visible there. This AgCl2 is a white compound and it splits up into Ag plus Cl2. Ag is our silver and Cl2 is our fluoride. So what we are doing here, see, when we put AgCl2 in sunlight, when we are putting AgCl2 in sunlight, it get decomposed into the silver. This Ag is silver in color, okay? This Ag is silver in color, silver plus Cl2. So it is the decomposition only because AgCl2 gets break down into Ag and Cl2. And how this decomposition takes place? This decomposition takes place in the presence of sunlight. This decomposition takes place in the presence of sunlight, okay? Now similarly, when we have NaCl, when we have to decompose this NaCl, then we have to pass current. Then we have to pass current here and it will get changes into Na positive plus Cl negative, or you can say it will get changes into the Na plus. Here we have taken ferrous sulfate FeSO4 dot H7H2O. Now what we have to do, we have to decompose this. Now what is this dot 7H2O? Actually it is the water of crystallization. It is called water of crystallization. So first of all, what we have to do, that when we are going to decompose this ferrous sulfate, we will put, this reaction will take place in the presence of heat. So we have taken here FeSO4 dot 7H2O, then we have given heat. So what product will come? Product will come in a form of FeSO4. Okay, it will come in a form of FeSO4. FeSO4. I hope it is visible. Yes. Now, where this water of crystallization? Whenever we heat, the water of crystallization escapes from there. Okay. So now it is left only FeSO4. Now what will happen? Again we will take this FeSO4 and we will heat. Okay, again we will take this. What is this triangle? This triangle means we are providing heat here. So now when we provide heat, it breaks down into Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. So this compound FeSO4 on heating get decomposed into Fe2O3, SO2 and SO3. And what is this SO2 and SO3? These are the very harmful, or we can say poisonous gas released here. Okay, here this is very poisonous gas released here. So what it is? It is also the type of decomposition. See student, no need to worry the name of the reactions, how reaction will take place, everything you will get to know slowly and slowly. Okay. First, kindly understand it, what is decomposition. So here you have seen that for taking decomposition of ferrous sulfate, first we have given heat. In first step, the heat, in first step, the heat, due to heat, the water of crystallization get removes. Then in second step, FeSO4 get decomposed into Fe2O3 plus SO2 and SO3, and this SO2 and SO3 are very harmful gases. So student, in today's class, here we have learned about the activity of barium iodide and lead chloride, right? Then we have discussed about the balancing equation, and little bit I have introduced about the two types of reactions. First is combination reaction and another one is decomposition reaction. So if you have any doubt, no need to worry, as we will move further and we will do questions when we will have discussion in Google Meet, everything will be clear to you. Okay, no need to worry, just give time to the things. Okay, because this is online mode, so no need to worry, slowly and slowly you will get a clear idea of the things. So students, I hope that you all will like this video. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.